Right, good morning. I feel a bit rushed this morning. It's Saturday and I'm down at Blyth ParkRun, but I've literally just arrived at 6 minutes before the race, so no proper time for a warm-up or anything this morning. And I'm going to try and do a little bit of an update while I'm going around about how week 8, I think it's end of week 8, how week 8 is gone. Yeah, it is week 8. Yeah. But it's only Saturday. I don't do my weigh until tomorrow, so I'll probably try and give a little bit of an update on how things have been going, but I'll finish this video tomorrow with my weigh-in, the Christmas weigh-in. That might give you a little bit of a clue on how things have gone. So 27. Thank you. Number 223. Let's find out how many did it. Thank you, mate. Happy New Year. Right, run done. Shopping done. Just been to the co-op. Didn't really film much while I was running, but I did give it a bit of beans today. And I'll tell you what, the results are just what I was hoping. And no, I didn't go for a PB, I just went quicker than last time. So, for week 8, I decided to try something a little different to kind of do a bit of experimenting on myself when it comes to my heart rate. My heart rate's been the one lingering side effect that's still around. So, my heart rate has, like I keep mentioning, been raised higher than normal when I'm doing activity. God, it's so bright this morning. Can't even look at the camera, it's so bright. Just got back to the car and realised I didn't get any bread. I've got to go back to the shop to get bread. Right, so this week I've been doing a little bit of an experiment. And that experiment's really around my diet. So with the heart rate being so high, I've really made myself believe that that's down to the lack of energy that my body's consuming, so it's having to work harder to do other things, right? And I hope that makes some sort of sense. In my mind, it certainly does. So this week, with it being Christmas week and with it being the perfect time to say, yeah, you can relax a little bit more with what you're eating. I'm still not able to eat a lot of food, but I have certainly been a bit more relaxed this week about what I'm eating, and that's more so around my carb intake. My carb intake has been up this week purposely. So I've been eating more potatoes, I've been eating more, what else have I been eating more? Probably just more potatoes, to be fair. Roast potatoes, mashed potatoes, then mashed potatoes again. Yeah, so I have really upped my carb intake this week, just to see what sort of difference it's going to make to my body when it's like, oh, you know what, I've got plenty of food here, thanks. Tomorrow I'm supposed to be going to do an event with those two runners and with Scott. And that event was going to be around an 11-mile run. But I've actually got a poorly dog at home at the moment who has suddenly developed vestibular disease. And she's 13 years old. And when you see a 13-year-old dog with vestibular disease, it's not funny. It's not nice. It's bloody awful. And tomorrow my wife is actually at work, so it means I need to stay at home because my dog can't walk at the moment. So I have to keep continuously carrying her out to the garden to get her to go to the toilet. So I figured today, okay, we've got ParkRun today. We've been doing this carb loading, essentially ready for the run tomorrow. So I'm going to go out and give it a little bit more on my ParkRun and then see what results we get with my heart rate when I'm giving it an effort. And let me just check. So according to my Garmin, I did a 26:36. And weirdly, normally I can get it to clock at 5 kilometers, but today it's clocked at 4.97. I think when I got to the start line, I didn't actually have a GPS signal when I pressed start. So I think maybe that's had an impact on that, but that don't matter. That doesn't matter. So I'm going to wait for the official result to come through, and I'm going to pop back in the shop to go get some bread. And then I think we'll wait till I'm back in the house and we'll do some analysis to see what actually that has done to my heart rate, to see if that has given me, I don't want to say it's going to give me the answer to what's going on, but it's certainly going to give me an indication to see that that's made a difference or not. But today's run was good. I enjoyed it. I met up with Jack, which was cool. I met Maxine for the first time. Maxine, really good to meet you. That was the first time, I've seen Maxine at events, but never actually got to say hello. So that was nice. And Michelle B was there as well, which was great to see Michelle. I ran around with Jack. We met up, and actually Jack messaged me a couple of days ago saying, and we said that we'd see each other here, but I didn't get here till really late. So lucky for me, I obviously started just in front of Jack, and he caught me up on the run, probably within the first kilometre, so that was great. Okay, so we'll be back in the house now and we'll look at what that's meant to my heart rate, and then we'll get into this week's loss. Okay, I'm back home. It is actually Sunday now, and don't worry, this isn't going to be some sort of deep dive into the analysis. I just really want to put this quickly. I got my official time back from ParkRun and it was 26:52, I think it was. I put it on the screen. Either way, I think what's really important is a few weeks ago I did the same run, and I did the same run in probably similar conditions. None of this is scientific. I'm really just wanting to see if there's been much of a difference from when I did this run a few weeks ago to when I did the run this weekend. In terms of things like the weather, they were very similar. The temperature, again, very similar. The biggest difference was my diet. I'd had a lot more carbs this week in the build up to this run compared to what I did a few weeks ago. And actually, I think this is really interesting. Again, this is not scientific. This is just me looking at it thinking, yeah, that kind of makes sense. So when I did this run a few weeks ago, these were my heart rate zones. You can see that I spent 56% of that time in zone 5. Okay, we have to also now look at what the time was for that run. 28:55. So let's call it 29 minutes. 29 minutes, and I spent 56% of my time in heart rate zone 5. That's really, really a lot of time for that sort of speed for me, for my ability. Now if we look at this week's run, we can see that I basically got 20, let's call it 27 minutes. It's just under 27 minutes, but let's just call it 27 minutes. So 2 minutes faster, but we only spent 30% of our time in zone 5. 43% in zone 3, yet the previous one was 29% in zone 3. And that's because more of that time was spent up in zone 5. So actually for me, that's a real clear indicator that there's been a difference in my heart rate from the food that I'm eating. Not scientific, I know, but I'm going to say that that shows me the difference. Now if we look at week 8 and the results that I've seen at week 8, quickly jumping into the side effects. I'm dropping the kids off at school fairly regularly now. I'm quite happy with how that's been. That might have something to do with the fact that I've been eating more carbs and more of this, more that. You know, the diet has been different, so that may have helped that. But yeah, that's certainly not been an issue this week. And if I'm really honest, there have really been no other side effects this week. It's been quite a good week. Okay, so this is the end of week 8. I've been on the 5 milligrams now for 4 weeks. What does this mean going forward? Am I going to go up to the 7.5 or am I going to stick to the 5? I've actually taken a decision to try sticking to the 5. I actually don't know if that's been the right decision. I might have been better placed to move up a step. I don't really know, it's the truth, but I'm feeling quite good right now. The diet's going well, so I figured, okay, I'm gonna stick to the 5 milligrams for another 4 weeks and see what happens during that time. Maybe that'll be a mistake. In a couple of weeks' time, I might be wishing, oh crikey, I wish I'd have gone up a step. I don't know. We'll see. What I don't want to do is rush ahead too much and start going for the bigger doses when maybe I don't need to. Now, weight loss for this week, it's not been a great week. It has been the Christmas week there. I'm lining up the excuses, but it has been the Christmas week. I have been doing a bit of a carb loading week. So I haven't lost the 3 pounds that I was hoping to lose. If I'd have lost 3 pounds this week, that would have given me the 2 stone mark. It didn't happen. The 2 stone mark hasn't happened yet. That's okay. We're getting closer to it. We have still seen a loss though, but it's a very, very small loss. we've lost 0.3 of a pound in the last week, which is 0.05 of a kilogram. That's, you know, it's not really disappointing, it's still a loss. And being Christmas week, normally I'd be looking at a 3, 4 or even a 5 pound gain over the last week. You do tend to find at this time of year that you do hold a bit more water and what have you, just through the nature of what you're eating. So we've only lost 0.3 of a pound, but it's still a loss. A maintenance week would have been, you know, fine with me in the end from the way that I approached the week. It's a small win, but it's still a win. That takes me to 25.3 pounds lost, or 11.45 kilograms. So really, really good loss altogether, and we're heading in the right direction. Back being on the strict diet, I've taken a lot of confidence and a lot of comfort actually from doing that test that I did this week, that I'm not going to worry too much about my heart rate when I'm reducing my carbs back down. As we get towards target weight and I start introducing things in the right time, in the right place, what do I mean by that is I'm not going to be all guns blazing suddenly eating loads of carbs, but certainly when it comes to looking at my training schedule, I do need to start considering, okay, I've got a big run there, I need to up my carb intake there. Bear in mind I've got Manchester Marathon in April, so there are going to be weeks where I think I'm going to actually see a reduction in the speed that I'm losing weight, just through the nature of what I'll be doing in terms of my training. I can't jeopardize my training and make marathon a painful experience by inflating my heart rate. I've got to be super sensible about it. So moving on from here, we're going into week 9. We're on the 5 milligrams dose still. We're going to continue with that for the next few weeks and see how things go. In terms of weight loss, well, I've got to go with the same target I set last time, and the target for my next week, I'm really hoping we're going to get to that 2 stone mark. I need to lose 2.5 pounds or thereabouts this week to get us to that 2 stone mark, and hopefully we will do that. That will be a real good goal, and that'll be kicking off 2025 in the right direction. So hopefully we get there. Okay, that kind of wraps it up for this week. Some more content coming soon where we're going to answer some more of the questions that have been asked, so keep an eye out for that. Remember, if you want to, hit that subscribe button, click on the bell if you want to get notified each time I upload a video. Thanks for watching, thanks for sticking around if you've made it this far, and I'll catch up with you next time.